What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Smoke World. I'm your host, Stone. I want you to sit back and grab that stick, grab a glass or whatever you're going to be drinking, and let's have a conversation. You can follow me on Instagram at SmokeWorld50. That's right, we have the email. I tell you this every time. You can follow me there on SmokeWorld50@gmail.com. This evening, I had the pleasure of sitting down with a brother who owns his own cigar brand. His name is Ron Brown of RTB Cigars. I'd like to thank him for taking the opportunity to sit down and talk to us. Brother Ron, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fabulous, Stone. How you doing, bro?
Oh, man, great, man. I appreciate you taking the opportunity to sit down to talk to us this evening. It's always an honor to talk to a person of my complexion. That's black-owned cigar companies, not that many. But nonetheless, there are some out there. And again, we want to recognize that. And can you give us a little idea exactly where you're from and where you grew up at?
Well, really quick, I was born in New York, Queens. Moved from there about the age of 10 or 11 and was, brought up the rest of the way in Charleston, South Carolina. And after that, went off to college and went into music education, started teaching a little bit, went into law enforcement, and then got injured. And through a couple of different situations, I figured it was time to get out of that. And now I'm still teaching music. Rather, I'm a person that comes in just to do outside work. I'm not actually in the classroom. I'm just a, golly, I forget right now, but I'm just a person that comes in and teaches percussion section. I'm just the writer.
Okay, I got to stop you right there.
Writer instructor.
You said you was in law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was me. Ditto. Okay, what were you doing? Talk to me.
I worked in Wadesboro, North Carolina, man, small town. I loved it because we did everything, You did your own investigations. You did your own talking to people, getting out in the street, doing your legwork. Nothing got passed on until you did your legwork. And great department, great people there. Still talk to a few of them every so often. But it's I come from a family of law enforcement. I have a cousin that's a police chief. I have a brother that's a sergeant detective. I have, let's just say, coming to my family reunion, it's probably harder to find somebody without a gun and a badge.
Wow. Okay. What a coincidence. I was a police officer myself in Philly for a number of years. For about
Get out of here.
12 years.
My cousin is up in Philly. He was, matter of fact, I'm trying to remember what year it was. I couldn't have been that old. I want to say late 70s, early 80s. He was there.
He was waiting for me. I came on the job in 1990, and I stayed there to 2002 after 9/11. Became an air marshal and did that thing for a while. And then, like I said, got hurt on the job, and so you got a similar story. And actually, I was, my past life, I used to be a producer. I was really a drummer, jazz drummer. And,
man, yes.
Straight ahead jazz guy. So, okay, we got some parallels there. Okay, very interesting. Good stuff there. So, okay, now, boom, you say you was a police officer. How long was you a police officer for?
I was there a little over a year and a half before I got injured.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I broke 5 ribs. No, I broke 4 ribs. They broke another for me in the hospital, put in a chest tube. And I broke or crushed my scapula, which is the shoulder blade where all the nerves go through.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Now, how did that happen? If you don't mind.
Basically, suspected intoxicated driver, pulled him over. He just decided he was tired of talking to me and I asked him to get out the car. He rolled up his window and said no. And we started a chase. And as I was pursuing him, I was thinking, you know what? Somebody's going to get hurt. I need to go ahead and end this. I'm going to let him go. He'll do something stupid again. They always do. They're going to do something dumb. So definitely. I didn't even put my foot on the brake. I just took my foot. I was easing my foot off the gas pedal. And I remember it like it was yesterday because the car jerked and I looked down to see how fast I was going. And I was doing right at 30, 35 miles an hour. And I said, I'm not even speeding. What the heck is going on? And it jerks again. And the third time it jerked, I couldn't save it. I started spinning around in the middle of the road, and then I stopped spinning, heading on into oncoming traffic, but I was going backwards.
Mm.
And the car hit a curb. As soon as it hit the curb, the front end jumped up like it was a freaking springboard. And I rotated that thing in a cartwheel motion 3 or 4 times. I hit a telephone pole, a tree, cut a gas line, and landed wheels first on the side of a house.
Wow. Okay.
Everything in the car was out of the car.
I can imagine. Well, God bless you.
Except me. I was the only one still in the car.
Well, God bless. Thank God for that. You stayed in the car. You had your seatbelt on, which kept you in the vehicle.
Yep, I had my seatbelt on, definitely. And that was one of the first things they asked me. I looked at him, I said, everything out here in the middle of the road, and I'm still in this car. Yes, I had my seatbelt on.
Well, God bless you here to tell a story, brother. That is the main part.
Amen.
Okay. All right, now we got to talk about this music thing. Now, what do you do with music?
You know what? I went to Brevard School of Music. It's up in Brevard, North Carolina. I had a scholarship to go there. That was only a 2-year school at the time. Transferred to the University of South Carolina. Shout out Gamecocks. Marched in the WAD squad, which is the drum line for University of South Carolina. And, got
out. Right there. So you trying to tell me you're a drummer too?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, man, what's going on? You ain't my brother, all right? You know what I mean? We doing police. We got the love of the league.
You saw?
God, yeah. Like I said, I played the drum band. I played the marching band. I did the all-city marching band. So I'm like, hold on, we got a lot of parallels here.
You in the music fraternity?
No music fraternity. Like I said, I was a straight jazz guy, straight hitting all the clubs. You know what I mean? I used to play with Chris McBride, Joey DeFrancesco, Warren Evans.
Yo, that's what's up. Heck yeah.
So we the Philly boys, so it was a Philly thing. And and I'm like, okay, listen to your story now. Okay, this is a great thing. So you use a popo, you got the love of the league.
Yes, sir.
Look, man. All right, so we're gonna get into this whole music. We're gonna get from the music thing to the cigar thing. Okay, so you got her on a job,
right?
And I'm looking at the cigar label here. This band on the cigar. Actually, okay, this might tell me what what I was thinking about this. Okay, so won't you get into this? Okay, so you get her, you leave the apartment, and when do you start getting into the cigar thing? How did you get into the cigar thing? First cigar you might have had, or talk to me about that.
First cigar I ever had was an Ochoa Fuente with the green ribbon on the foot.
Mm-hmm.
I smoked it, right? One of my best friends, man, grew up together. He gave it to me. We started smoking it. I did that. I did the thing everybody does. Did the inhale. It was a rough night. It was a rough night. I made it through it, but it was a severely rough night.
You didn't throw up, man. You kept it down. Did you let it go?
No, I kept it down while we was in public.
Oh, okay.
As soon as we got away, it was not good. It was night. Yeah. I was looking for some place to lay it down. I was like, man, I gotta go. I'll come back out tomorrow. So that was the first one I smoked, and man, I'm trying to remember when that was, man. It was so long ago. I want to say it had to be at least 20 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha. That's right. You ain't got to remember that far back. We getting old, brother. So we ain't going to hold that against you. Yeah. You just know many moons ago. Many moons ago, you had your first note. You had your first note. Okay. So then when you fell, obviously that night, I can't imagine you fall in love with the cigar based on your experience. So, so I take it somewhere down like, you know what? I'm going to give this another shot. I'm going to try it.
I was having fun. The thing was, for me, was that inhaling didn't happen until like late in the evening. Like, I don't even know, because I already knew not to do that.
Right.
And so I'm having a good time. We're having a few drinks. We're just enjoying, because it was all brothers, man. We was all there having a good time, catching up, guys from school, talking, blah, 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 blah. So I was literally enjoying myself. And I was like, man, this is what I needed. So, let's fast forward to the accident. And then after the accident, I'm going to rehab, for, my arm and my shoulders and my ribs and everything. We're going all of this stuff. And when I'm not there, I'm sitting at the house. So some guys knew that I smoked, and I had visited the local lounge here a few times. They say, hey, man, come on and hang out at the shop, man. Don't sit in the house, man. You're going to get cabin fever. So there was a lot of times that, I get dropped off at the lounge. Um, Somebody come pick me up and take me to the lounge. You know, I'm sitting there smoking one day and I said, I don't see why I should not have my own cigar.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And everybody looked at me and said, what did you just say? I said, man, look, Jay-Z got his cigar. Why Jay-Z the only musician I know at the time? Why Jay-Z the only one got his own cigar? I want to have my cigar. And then I found out Avo, of course, musician, has a cigar. And I'm sorry, man, look, I'm going to do this. And so they laughed. I was like, no, I'm serious. So anyway, I kept, I just started doing my research, looking into some things. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of the trials and tribulations. Let's just say you got to be careful.
Folks want to know this. This is why it's important.
Okay.
Again, and you're an entrepreneur, you're a Black man, and you start your own cigar company. So I should give a little bit of insight on, some of the trials and tribulations on how you got there, because there may be some other young folks, old folks out there listening to this to say, hey, what are the steps? Can I do this? And you might inspire to make that.
Let me give you some of the ones that I had to deal with. If you ever contact somebody and they tell you they're a blender, and you say, hey, this is the type of cigar that I'm looking for. This is what I want, binder, filler, wrapper, and this is the size I want it in. And they say, well, hey, let me send you some samples. Okay, that's mistake number one.
Okay.
Always go to the place supplying you. At least go to, if you have a person that's your contact that, let's say they're in Florida, but the factory is in Honduras. Okay, if you can't get there, get to the person that's running it. Get to the person in charge of making it happen, where you can actually get there and you can actually sit down with that person and smoke and find out what's going on. So that was mistake number one. Face to face I learned from me, face to face was the best way to do it.
Okay.
It wasn't send me some samples and then send me some more samples. So anyway, guy sends me some samples. Okay. I think you got to be careful with samples, because some people may ask you to pay full price for a sample. Okay, bro, I'm going to be purchasing a ton of cigars as we try this out. Why am I going to pay you for samples full price? I'm not saying I want them free, but can we knock that down a little bit? Because you fixing to get a whole lot of money from me.
Gotcha.
So at the end of the day, we get the cigars, right? I'm so gung ho. I'm like, man, that's all right. We're gonna do this because I'm trying to help another brother out who's trying to get his foot in the door.
Okay.
So he's telling me, hey, I've been doing this for years. Okay, cool. So who I was introduced to this brother by another fellow brother who's doing the same thing. So anyway, long story short, he said, you know what? We like it, but here's some of the changes. So I call him. I say, hey, man, because I put together a smoke group. Don't depend on your own palate, okay? I'm sorry to backtrack like that, but don't depend on your own palate. Have a smoke group, a focus group that can help you make this decision. And it's got to be people you can trust, not people that are going to hate on you.
Makes sense.
True brothers and sisters who are down for you from day one. Okay? So sorry to backtrack like that, but moving forward. So we go back to the contacting of the guy. Says, hey, man, I need these changes done. He says, nah, man, that's it. No, wait a minute. What you mean that's it? That's it. I said, but you're a blender. Well, yeah, but, no, I don't know. If you're the blender, then you can make the change. And at that point, that's when you knew. Anybody who can't make a change to it, that's not a blender. That's a person who pre-orders the cigar a certain way, which is why you're paying the higher price, because he's paying the lower price to get the cigar and charging you the full price. So, lesson learned. I was young in the game. I made many mistakes with that one. Moving forward, I found somebody I thought was like, man, this guy, man. And I went to this one. I went to the shop. I was like, I was at the factory in the warehouse. Everything. I'm like, all right. They're sitting there rolling. Everything's going good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. We're coming up with great blends. I'm thinking we're good. Smoking it, having a joyous time. Boom. Launch out my first one under Concerto Cigars. So Concerto Cigars is out. We're doing great. Things are moving. I'm a young company, but I got locations. And it's moving. I get a phone call. Hey, man, this is a good cigar, but this is not your cigar. What are you talking about? He says, man, this is a good cigar, but it's not your blend. He said, I know what your blend is. I was there when you did it. I was like, man, hold on a second. So I straight shot to the house. Boom. I get over to the house. I'm like, man, what are you talking about, man? We just sent you a bunch of cigars. He said, yeah, and they're not your blend.
Now, who's telling you that? Who's this person?
A friend of mine. Friend.
Gotcha.
That was in the focus group.
Okay, gotcha.
So he really knew the cigar.
Right. He had a person with expertise in their palate. They knew what they had smoking. This wasn't. Okay, I got you.
So I grabbed a cigar. I cracked one open. I start smoking. I'm like, dang, this is a good cigar, but this is not mine. So, of course, at that time, it was really late. So I wait till the next day, and I call over to the factory, and I says, hey, man, here's what's going on. Oh, no, man, that's not it. That's yours. No, bro, it's not. I smoked it. It's not. And so, long story short, we parted ways because this was going to be a he say, she say all day long. And there were going to be it was going to get worse before it got better.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going to be really bad because it just wasn't going to be a good situation. So I'm not the kind of person that I don't want to go in your shop and tear your shop up. And I don't want you to come to my house thinking you can come to my house and tear my house up. So it's best that we stay away from each other's houses and shops.
Gotcha.
If I see you, hey, God bless you. I wish you the best, man. Congratulations on all your success. I hope you do well going forward, but you will just never get my business again. Then I was introduced to Gabby Caffey of Caffey 1901 Cigars.
Okay.
I was working as a armed guard with Dunbar Armored Car Service at the time. I just finished a 12-hour, 10 and a half? I think that was 11-hour shift. I just finished an 11-hour shift. I jumped in my car with a friend. We drove 12 and a half hours to Miami and pulled up in the yard, and he came in, he greeted us. He and I sat down, we talked business, and we talked about the opportunity or the possibilities of me coming on board and my cigars being made out of his factory, and what would that look like? What would the business side of the relationship look like? And, we talk nuts and bolts and bits and pieces. And for me, that was amazing because that is exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for someone like, we need to talk nuts and bolts. We need to talk, what's going to happen? How is this going to make a better situation for myself? And then this being good for me, how is it going to help you?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, how are you going to help me to grow into the company that I want to be? Because I'm not just leaving this for my kids. I'm leaving this for my grandkids and my great grandkids.
Gotcha.
So my goal is to produce something that lives on far, far, far after I do. And that can continue to bring in a financial situation for my family. So he and I had those conversations. And we also, after we realized, we're doing this. We started going through blends. We started going through leaves. We started going through what we want in the leaf. What do we want in the binder to fill it right? What type of smoke do I want? Now, I'll be honest with you. When I started the process with him, I was still young in the industry. I was still trying to get my feet wet because, there are a lot of situations where you come in new, you're going to have to go under someone. you can do all the research you want, but you got to get with that person that has knowledge that is not afraid to share that knowledge. You know, and that's my opinion. You know, it could hold water, it could not. But I still think you need to be with somebody that's knowledgeable, that's not scared to share information. So
no, absolutely.
He and I would have, man, late night conversations. We'd be talking all the time and building a business relationship. And, you know, he's a mentor to me right now. And at the time while I was down there, we came up with several blends. But I told him, I said, I want to focus this. And he says, okay. So we came up with the idea that we're going to do 2 blends right now. And then we'll release the other ones down the road. But release the 2 and then keep going. And, you know, he's like, so what 2 are we going to release? I said, and I think we both said at the same time, Connecticut and Maduro.
Can't go wrong.
And it's like, you know, you get the mild smoker, and then you get the flavorful full body, medium to full body smoker. Now, you know, we came out with the Connecticut, I smoked that Connecticut. I was like, man, that's a different kind of Connecticut. You know, it's got a little something to it. It's not overbearing. But it's not like picking up some short filler off the ground and wrapping it together. Like, here you go, smoke this. You know, we make sure that it has some type of flavor to it, so that it does, you know, has a little bit of spice to it, so that it does mix well with coffee. You know, okay. So, you know, it's definitely the morning stick. It's the one for the coffee. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've smoked the Connecticut and drank a beer. Been happy.
All right, so
just being honest.
To that point, so and you have 2 blends that's on the market now.
Yes.
Then you have the Connecticut and you have your Maduro.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get to the Connecticut. Okay, what type of leaf, what kind of blend are we looking at the Connecticut? Those who are listening.
Okay.
So they can go.
Okay, so I got you. So the Connecticut is an Ecuador Connecticut, and it's called Aria. The wrapper is a cloud-grown, Ecuadorian crowd-grown. The binder is Honduran. The filler is Dominican, Honduran, and Nicaraguan. Now, that comes in a 6x52 10-count box, we told them.
Okay, Toros. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I'll go ahead and answer about the Maduro next, and then I'm going to tell you about why the sizes we picked. The Maduro is a Nicaraguan Habano Maduro Finale is the name of the cigar. It's called the Finale. The wrapper is a Nicaraguan Cuban seed Habano. Then the binder is Honduran. The filler is Honduran and Nicaraguan. Same as the Aria. It's a Toro 6x52 10-count box.
Okay.
Now, my reasoning behind that, you know, when you're doing, on the research that I have done, when they're judging the majority of the cigars and you're getting your rating and you're getting your scores, that's done on a Toro. Because a Toro is that size where it's probably about the best balance you're going to get. So let's say you go to a 6x60. Mm-hmm. Well, in order to get that 6x60, you're adding most of the time you're adding more filler. Now, you could have the famous recipe where you add more binder, filler, and wrapper to match. But most of the time, it's an addition of filler. Or if you go down smaller, you know, or you go down to the Lancero, it's definitely very little filler.
Right. So you got pure tobacco flavor. Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
So it's about the best balance that you're going to get from my research. And to be honest with you, like I said, I wanted to streamline it. I wanted to be streamlined. I wanted to go, you know what? This is the size we're going to go. Because at first we was like, there were sizes. We had all different sizes. So I'm going like, no. You know what? I think, you know, and in all honesty, Dr. Caffey came came up with it. I was like, well, I asked him, I said, what if we just do one size? He goes, what if we just do a Toro? And I thought about it, and I was like, let me check into that. And he called me back, and he's like, you know why I said that, right? And I was like, because the majority of the cigars that are judged on that size.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, right.
Gotcha.
He said, right, exactly. And it's a nice size, you know. It's hard for me, honestly, to smoke anything larger. That's just me personally. That's just my personal opinion.
Hey, no problem.
I'm not a 6x60 guy.
Okay, now how long has your cigar been out on the market at this point in time?
Now, when I came out with Dr. Caffey, we rebranded everything. Everything got rebranded. We had a press release in Half Wheel introducing Concerto Cigars to the Caffey household, or from Tabacaleria Caffey out of Dunley, Honduras. And the fact that it was now RTB Cigars, Edition 83, that Concerto Cigars LLC was producing a new cigar under that title. So if you go back to, you can go back to 2015, where I debuted under Concerto Cigars, but now it's last year when we dropped the RTB Cigar Edition 83.
Okay, so 2015, but under the new brand, 2019.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. And where can we find these cigars? I mean, we didn't hype these folks up. Where can we find these cigars? Where can we find RTB Cigars? You got a website? Are you at the brick and mortar?
There is. Well, currently we are in 10 locations. Actually, I take that back. It actually jumped up. It depends on where you're at. And the easiest way I can tell you to do this, there's two things you can do. You can go to www.VSR, that's Victor Sam Rob, cigarfam.com. That is a website that you can go to, Victor Sam Rob, cigarfam.com. And you can order RTB cigars from there. You can get sample packs of 2 and 2. You can get 5 packs. You can get a box of half and half, where you can get half Connecticut, half Maduro. And we can ship it directly to you. We're currently we have in Monroe, North Carolina, we have Monroe Cigar Shop. We have in Charlotte, North Carolina, we have Aroma, etc. In Indian Land, we're in Stogies and Brews, but I think they are currently out, but we're going to be fixing that situation hopefully soon, I do believe, because I just talked to them, and so we're going to be doing that. You know, COVID's got a lot of things messed up. Some of these locations may be light, so you may want to call them before you go down there to see.
Okay. Well, let me ask you another question based on that.
Yeah.
Well, because we have cigar owners of brick and mortar shops who listen to the podcast. If they're interested in, okay, you know what, listening to the Stone, liking what Ron's talking about, the Black-owned cigar business, and I want to support them, how would the cigar owners of the shop maybe get in contact with you? Would that be that same website, or maybe you have social media?
You can email me directly.
Okay. Do you have that email? Can we get an email out to those folks?
Yes, sir. rtbcigars@gmail.com. That's rtbcigars@gmail.com. I am on social media if they want to hit me up on the social media. On Instagram, RTB_cigars. You can connect with me there. I do have a Facebook page, RTB Cigars, on a Facebook page. But I will tell you that the easiest way to get in touch with me and for it to be as fast as possible is either Instagram or just emailing me directly is the very fastest way.
Okay, email. So great. So folks, if you're listening out there, you mean brick and mortar owners of cigar lounges, again, give that email out one more time just so they make sure they get in contact with the interested in carrying your brand. One more time, give that email if you don't mind.
rtbcigars.com. I'm sorry, rtbcigars@gmail.com.
Gotcha. All right. So what's the future hold for RTB at this point? You have this two blends. Is there anything that you have in the makings that you can discuss, or what's the concept moving forward?
Moving forward, the idea is definitely to expand out as far as locations, and we are currently working in discussions with the idea of what is the plan moving forward for the other two or three blends that we have already approved. So there's no target date right now, to be honest with you. The honesty of it is we're trying to see what's going to happen with this, the COVID stuff. There were so many things that were planned as far as ideas and things that we wanted to do. It's just this has set us all back. And right now we're just, the best way we can do it is social media, Instagram Live, which is why I'm also so grateful for yourself, Stone, offering this platform to come out and talk to people and let them know that, we're here. And got things, we have some things coming out, and we want to make sure that we do our best to supply it for you and bring a great product. I do want to do a quick shout out to my man Oscar in Dunley, Honduras at Tabacalera Cafe. Let me tell you, man, I can't say enough about these guys down there. We do everything all in-house. Okay. The rolling of the cigars, the artwork on the band, the artwork on the boxes, the building the boxes, the cellophane that goes around the cigar, the cellophane that goes around the boxes.
So everything's in-house. You were saying everything is in-house.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we do everything. They do everything in-house, man. They take care of us, and they make sure that everything is done on a professional level. So I'm grateful to them and all that they do.
Good stuff. Now I want you to touch briefly on this the band that's on the cigar, and basically I guess your music background. So give us a little insight on that, on the band that I'm pretty sure you had your hand in creating on this particular cigars that you have.
Man, let me tell you something. I had my hand in every bit of everything that took place. And this band tells my musical background. It tells my musical history. In 1983, I started playing the alto saxophone. So if you look, you see the Edition 83. That's the year I started playing saxophone. If you look on the gold on the band, you see a saxophone player on the side. Then, as you get closer inside, you see You see next to RTB in the seal, you see two pairs of drumsticks, one on each side. That signifies me transferring from a saxophonist, which is a woodwind instrument, to a percussionist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also, you'll see the blue and the gold and the white, how it all kind of stands out. Everything kind of stands out on its own, really. I'm a member of Kappa Kappa Psi Music Fraternity Incorporated.
Okay.
So that's why you got the blue and the gold. Now, the thing is, everybody says, oh, those notes, man, what song is it? It is not a song.
It's not a song. So you're disappointing folks right now.
I am. Because I get emails about it. I get calls about it all the time. Man, what song is that? Did you write that? I mean, in a matter of speaking, somebody wrote it, but it just wasn't me.
I got you. Just wasn't Ron.
Yeah, no.
Not this time.
Not this time. But it's going to be in the works. I can honestly tell you that much. That is something that was truly talked about because it keeps getting brought up so much. I was like, I'm going to have to change that. I've got to put something down there.
Definitely.
I'm going to have to.
Sounds like a winner, man. Like I said, was there anything, before we wrap up, anything else you want to let the folks know? Again, if you have the social media, you posted that, and you spoke about reference to that. You got your email address. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you want the folks to know about the cigar, about you?
No, man. Just know that if you ever get a notice that I'm in your area, please come out. I believe in having a good time, having a great time. I'm all about the experience when it comes to the cigar. And there's one thing I do want to touch on is that when you smoke RTB cigars, my thing is I want you to have a great experience. So every draw, every time is going to be a great draw. If you ever pick up one of my cigars, and the draw is not good, I need you to email me and let me know, because that means there's something going on that we have to address. But that's the one thing we do very well is I don't like harsh straws where when you're finished, your jaw is like sore.
A Wendy's Frosty. So you don't want to smoke cigar. We have a Wendy's Frosty experience. So that's
you ain't trying to sip it through a straw.
You stand by your product. So folks, listen. Ron, RTB Cigars, he's telling you stand by his product. If there's an issue, he wants to know about it so he can improve it. And I believe, like I said, it was important to give you a platform. You've been a Black-owned cigar company, which is, I think, kudos to you for doing that. Like I said, you heard the beginning of the story. A lot of trials, a lot of tribulation, a lot of learning curves, but nonetheless, I mean, you pursued, you came through, and we appreciate you. Spend this opportunity talking about your cigars and telling us your story and your journey, man. We really appreciate you, brother. I really do.
I appreciate you, Stone. I appreciate you and all of your followers, man. Hey, man, big ups to you for doing this, man. You know,
no doubt, bro. Like I said, this is what the platform is all about. You mean, the exposure. You know, we get the folks, the small folks. You all need a little voice every now and then. So it's important that we support each other, especially the brick and mortar. Based on the pandemic, I say this every time on a lot of episodes that a lot of times by default we were ordering online, but as things now started to open back up, it's important that we support the brick and mortar stores because again, that's where we had that experience. That's where we actually go to the lounge and enjoy each other's company, have a nice drink, whether it be coffee, soda, tea, whatever you may be drinking. But nonetheless, it's that experience. It's that love of the leaf that we talk about, that we can get together and actually enjoy each other's company, man. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to have a little discussion with me on Smoke World. So look, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. Look, take care. You be safe on the other side. And like I said, anytime you come up here, tri-state, Philly, Delaware, Jersey, make sure you look up Stone and you check out Smoke World.
Definitely will. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Take care of yourself. Be safe, man. Talk to you.
All right, man. Later.
Peace.